Welcome to Talk About Scary, the show where we do just that. Talk about scary places and whether or not the stories are true.
Okay, well, hey Clay.
Hey, how are you doing today, Adam?
I am doing pretty damn well. I'm actually doing better because I get to tell you something that I found, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, this is your day.
It's my special
Rub
day.
it in my face.
I'm going to. It's my day to shine. Okay.
Do you want a star? Let me just print one out really quick. I'm sending it to you by carrier pigeon.
Oh,
It
thank
should
you
be
very
there
much.
within a few days. Anyway,
So I love all things Arizona. I know the last one we did was on Arizona, but I really wanted to do another one. So I am taking us down to Bisbee, Arizona.
Bisbee.
Bisbee.
Is that a real? That's a real place.
It is a real place. It is a town. It's an old mining town that's about 5 miles from the American-Mexican border.
Sounds like a thing you throw.
Yeah,
You know,
frisbee.
Like a frisbee.
Yeah, but it's Bisbee.
All right. I've
Now-
never been there.
It's a pretty cool place. I've been there a few times. However, it's one of the nation's first for everything. It has the nation's first ballpark, which is like Warren Ball Field, the first municipal golf course. I think that was Turquoise Valley, and they also have the nation's very first library, which was the Copper Queen, which is now a hotel, and in particular now a haunted hotel, or evidently it is. So, right after the California Gold Rush, people started flocking to this area for like copper, silver, and lead, and there was a lot of like rootin' tootin' cowboy stuff going on, and a lot of prostitution, a lot of death, a lot of mayhem.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
my kind of place.
All the good stuff.
Yeah, it is all the good stuff. Well, that's what people think about when they think about the Wild West. Yeehaw. Okay, so the Copper Queen. It's been on lots of haunted television shows. I'm not going to mention them because ours is the best, but it's been on a lot of them. And it started serving the public as a hotel in 1902. And the most notable haunting there, or spirit, is a spirit of an actual person with an actual name. Her name was Julia Lowell. And she was... Julia Lowell.
Okay.
She was a woman of the night, a prostitute, from the 1920s to like the mid 1930s.
Okay.
And back then, prostitution was legal in Arizona. And she met a man, and she fell head over heels in love with him, and she wanted him to marry her and whisk her away, and he just didn't feel like he wanted to be a part of that prostitute's life. So she became very upset and eventually hung herself. And it was either in room 215 or 201. No one's quite sure anymore. I did extensive research, and it says either 201 or 215. There's nothing else on it besides that. Now, here is the creepy part, is that she haunts men. So if men stay in room 215, they named it the Julia Lowell room, and men will say that they hear whispers in their ears while they're sleeping, and sometimes they wake up and they see her dancing in a very provocative way at the foot of the bed or at the stairs outside of room 215. And sometimes she's seen on the stairs either like smoking or drinking a bottle of whiskey or whatever. So anyway, that's called the Julia Lowell room. Pretty creepy, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely seems pretty similar to the other hotel that we talked about.
Okay, how so?
Seeing things in a room where someone, died, or just outside. Definitely the noises. I think the only difference is that it seems to only pertain to men, but I understand that in the line of prostitution, it seems to be fitting for her, but I can definitely definitely see the similarities in hotels. And you mentioned that in the episode where we talked about the Monte Vista, that it seems like some of these hotels have very similar stories. So
Maybe.
while I think it's interesting, especially since you have a name, Julia Lowell, who I just Googled, and I'm reading along with you here as I hear your story. But yeah, I can't help but notice that it does seem to me now that some of these hotels do seem to feature very similar stories.
Right. But who knows? I mean, it could be true. I don't believe it's true.
It says she likes to play with men's feet. I'm seeing that. Did you read that?
I did not read that. I'm sure there's lots of different stories, but you know what? I like a good foot massage more than anybody else, so maybe I should go stay at the Copper Queen.
You're right. I didn't even think about that. Free massage at the Copper Queen.
Ghost massage. Okay. I got a better one for you. Well,
okay.
Maybe not a better one, but definitely a creepier one. So people have said at the Copper Queen, it's got like a lot of ghosts, but there's like 3 main ones, and there's a guy that's there. It says it's a tall man with long hair and a beard, and they see him on the various floors, and he always has a suit with a cloak on and a top hat, and when people see him, they say it smells like cigar smoke, but you can't smoke anywhere in the Copper Queen. So
ooh, that's interesting. They can actually
a lot of people
smell
see that
it.
Guy. Yep. So an olfactory hallucination.
Where did he, like, what's his thing? Was he like, did he stay there?
Nobody knows.
Did he get killed there? No one knows.
There's nothing that no one knows who his name is. Everybody has reported seeing this man. It's happened several times over the last 40 years. It continues to happen today, and nobody knows who he is.
See, to me, that's almost creepier than having a story or history of an individual. If everyone is seeing the same person, but no one knows who it is or why they're there, to me, that's actually really ominous.
And that's actually better for me too, right? Because if you think about it, usually these hotels, I feel, they develop this huge backstory, and there's a lot of, like, I don't know, pageantry that goes into getting people to come in to see this, whatever they think it is. And I think
you don't want it to be too gimmicky.
Yeah, I feel like that way they're trying to sell hotel tickets, right? But this place, so many people have seen this guy, nobody knows who he is. Maybe that's real. Who knows?
I sure would like to know the story, though, if it was someone that stayed there or died there.
I wish I could accommodate you. I've tried looking all day long. I can't find anything on the guy. Not that the research I do is just one day. I'm just saying that I looked all day today. I couldn't find anything more on him besides the reports.
No, I understand.
And I actually spoke to the man at the front desk who runs the Copper Queen. He's the general manager. And he says that he has personally seen this guy himself. And this guy isn't really prone to flights of fancy. He's pretty basic, like basically normal guy. He's got no, like, I don't know. He's not so fantastical. He's just a regular guy like you and me. He says, yeah, I've seen him.
That's pretty scary.
Talk about scary. Okay.
There it is again.
There it is. Boom.
The name of the show.
Thank you. Okay, so there is one more we can talk about at the Copper Queen. Now, I have to say before I get to the last one, because, I think Bisbee's very creepy in a lot of different ways, and there's a lot of murders there, like I said. But every hotel down in Bisbee says they're haunted, and they've had a lot of ghost adventures and things of that nature. Everything from, like, down the street, there's a hotel that has haunted cats in it. All the way through.
Haunted cats.
I swear to you that I cannot make this stuff up. But this town has been here, and it's been continuously running and looking exactly the way it did back in 1908. So I don't know what to say. I mean, it is just creepy, just the history of it by itself.
Well, small towns generally do have that kind of, or they can have that creepy vibe about them. Usually a lot of people know each other, so when tourists come in, it's all about what can we get out of them. So Honestly, I'm not surprised. If you've got one or two haunted hotels, I feel like it makes sense that the other hotels are going to be like, I think that we're haunted too, at least when the tourists are here.
Yeah, at least
Because
the
the
tourists
tourists
are here,
have
right?
wallets, you know?
Nice. Oh, they have this like old Bisbee ghost tour you can go on where the lady will walk you around to every single place that's haunted, which is every 5 feet. I swear to God, there's like a million
See that
hauntings
dirt?
there.
That dirt is haunted. That shrub next to the dirt, haunted shrub.
That doghouse and that swing set are both haunted.
That swing, it moved.
That hamburger is a haunted hamburger. Don't eat it.
Well, regardless, I'm liking what you're throwing out so far. So,
Well, there's more. There's a lot
Bisbee
more.
seems like an interesting place, and I'm a little bit upset that I haven't even heard of Frisbee, Arizona.
It's Bisbee,
So-
Arizona.
Oh,
And it is really cool. It's very artsy
sorry.
too. You must have heard of Bisbee once or twice. It's right south
No.
of Tombstone.
I have heard of Tombstone.
Everybody's
There's a
heard of
movie
Tombstone.
called Tombstone.
It's a fantastic movie. Kurt Russell's
Yeah.
in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, not only do they have seances there, they have a seance room, and every
At
house
this, wait. At the same hotel, or are we just still talking about the town?
kind of like the town. It actually is right next door.
Oh,
to it.
okay.
I mean, everything is right next door, but
Okay.
it's right next door to it. And I believe the guy that runs the seances has a tie to the Copper Queen. I forget what it is, but I think he works there or knows somebody. And every
Well,
ghost
like I
tour
said-
actually starts from there.
Everybody there knows. Everybody there.
How shocking!
It's just, yeah.
It is a cool place, and the Copper Queen is it. You can feel. I've walked inside, and I feel like I'm transported to like a different time. Do you know what I mean? Like it's almost like an out of body experience in a way.
So have they done like any renovations over the year? I mean, I think you said 1902, 1908, something like that with the prostitute ghost. And obviously Bisbee's been there for a while now. I mean, I don't even think Arizona wasn't even a state until 1912. So we're talking like actually before Arizona was a state, correct?
That is correct. And they haven't really. I mean,
So-
they've done some upkeep, obviously, but it's the original
But
structure.
it's not very modern. Like they've just kind of kept it the same and fixed it up as needed.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
it right there. Like, there's no like regular air conditioning and any of that stuff. It's pretty.
Ooh.
They do have televisions
So,
now, but they're old TVs.
Don't go in the summer is the message I'm hearing from you. If
or
they
you
don't
will
have
be
AC.
a ghost there.
Oh
You'll
jeez.
die of heat stroke. But it is
Well,
pretty damn cool.
Keep going. Let's
Okay.
hear what else you got.
This is the last one I have for you. Okay, but it's
Okay.
the creepiest one because it involves a child.
See, it's like when ghost children are like, I don't know what it is, because children are generally innocent and likable, but whenever it's a ghost child, it's like inverted. You're like more scared of it than when it's an adult ghost. For
I'm actually
Whatever
afraid of live
reason.
children, so I.
Okay.
They're terrifying to me. I don't want any part of those live kids. Give
So
me
you
a
could
dead
just
kid.
say.
I mean, don't give me a dead kid. I'm just saying. Give me a ghost.
This has
kid.
escalated very quickly. You want dead children?
Listen, I don't want dead children. Don't put that in my mouth. Don't put dead children in my mouth.
You put
Don't-
that in.
Listen, don't do that. Okay, I don't. Like
Okay, I
dead
won't
children.
put no.
I don't want any children in my mouth. Listen, okay. I gotta finish my story. Okay.
Yeah, Bisbee.
Okay, so
Let's go
Bisbee.
back to Bisbee.
So there's a boy, okay, that is, I guess his auntie or some relative worked at the Copper Queen at one time.
Okay.
I think it was back in the 60s. And this boy drowned. He was like 8 or 9 years old, and he drowned close to the adjoining river.
Like
and
right by the property.
Pretty close to the property.
Okay.
So he didn't die in the building, but he loved going there and playing around all day while his auntie worked.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So people see things. Now, this is the weirdest thing. People have seen him take. He likes shiny things. They've lost keys, coins. They lost a remote control one time, and that's not very scary, right? People lose.
I mean,
things.
I definitely think though if a ghost is involved and you think that the ghost is taking it, that's actually kind of terrifying when a ghost is able to like manipulate physical objects.
But people,
so if
it is agreed that people can just lose things, though, right?
if someone just lost something, it's not very scary. That's not very caring of their personal belongings. But
I lose my phone all the time, and I'm not terrified of that. However,
it's
different
in your pocket.
people. It's
mostly.
It's usually in my pocket. My sunglasses are on my head. Cell phone's in my pocket. Two different people have said that they have seen their keys on 2 separate occasions. That they've seen their keys levitate, like someone's grabbed them,
like floating in front of them.
Yeah, like an episode of Bewitched or something.
Okay. Did you do the nose thing?
No, I just did my finger,
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. But anyway, I don't know if I believe it, but 2 people said that their keys levitated. They didn't know each other at all. Pretty scary.
It was keys both times?
Keys both times.
And other people have reported that their shiny objects have disappeared.
Yes. It's usually like coins, things like that. But one person said there was a remote control. I don't know how a ghost would recognize a remote control, but it also goes back to my entire theory that if there are ghosts and they did die at a certain time, right? Mm-hmm. Then why aren't any of the ghosts from the 1980s just hanging out and stealing, 80s things, the things they would recognize from the 80s, maybe like an old bag phone, portable bag phone, or a beeper or something.
Or Pogs.
Pogs? Was that the 80s? A bottle of Jolt Cola.
Maybe like the end of the 80s.
Maybe.
I was like 2 when the 80s ended, so my knowledge of the 80s is pretty thin.
Pretty sad. I was like 2 as well. Too old.
That's right.
Okay, back to the hotel. Okay.
Well, I think that's interesting. 2 accounts, that's better than 1. I mean, I know that sounds obvious, but when you have 2 people that can verify the same or very similar instance, that's better than just 1 person, because you never know if that 1 person was drinking, if that 1 person has a medical condition, schizophrenia, for example, something of that nature.
But barring all this, we're just talking about ghost stories, right? So, I mean...
Yeah, I definitely think there's some interesting things being proposed at this hotel that have occurred, but I don't know. I don't know that there's necessarily more evidence there than at the Monte Vista or any other hotel that claims that they're haunted.
Okay.
It's definitely some of it is similar, some of it is unique. The keys levitating, that's great. I wish there was a video, a picture.
There's never a video or a picture. There's never. Do you know how many of these things I've done in my life already? And I've set up cameras everywhere. I've never seen one thing.
See, that's the thing, is like, now that technology is advancing, where everyone has smartphones in their hand at all times, you see stories like this fade away. Because if they were to be real, it's like, well, why didn't you get a picture of it?
Is that why there's nothing from the 2000s ever?
Exactly. Like, I guarantee it, when we go to do future episodes, it's going to be tough to find something from later than like the 1980s, because technology is so available. And I'm not discrediting some of these stories. Some of them are truly terrifying. But I do think it makes you ask the question of what's real and what's exactly what I said, a story.
Sure. Now, you know that I'm a known skeptic. Everybody knows it. I've been asked to go to several different hotels and set up cameras and do ghost experiments, and it winds up just me getting drunk and having a good time because there's nothing to see, as far as I'm concerned. But I did set up a few cameras when I was down there last time. One of them was a Red Epic, big Red Epic. You know the big cameras.
That's a
And
nice camera.
I caught nothing at all.
Yeah.
However, it's a big red button on the top of a Red Epic camera. For those at home have never seen one, big fat red button. In order to turn it on, you got to push that fat red button. And I will say that I was in the room with the camera, just me, nobody else. I was taking a shower, getting ready to go out and do some more exploring of the bars, and the camera turned on by itself. Hand to God, I actually have the clip of the camera turning on by itself, me walking up to it and staring at it for a second. Nobody's around.
Which is, I mean, I get it. Obviously, I deal with cameras too, so I understand what you're saying. But at the same time, you're telling me stories about a prostitute that died in the 20s, for example. Would she even know how to turn on the video camera? If that was her, was she just like, feeling all around it and like accidentally tapped it on? Same thing with the boy. Would a little boy, even if it was from the 60s, I think you said,
Sure.
would he understand how to do that? So, I mean, the principles apply of, I'm a believer, but I'm also kind of skeptical of how or why would that happen, and how or why would the ghost even know how it works to
Sure.
I'm gonna turn this on right now and freak him out. Boom.
Boo! They do also have reports of televisions turning on and off all over the hotel by themselves.
Another hotel with TVs turning on and off.
Yeah,
See,
I've never seen one, but turn on and off. But they do have very old televisions there, like the UHF ones. They're very weird. I don't know why they choose to have old CRT televisions, but it adds to the creepiness if nothing else, right?
Well, I do believe that if nothing else, spirits, energy, ghosts, whatever, definitely interrupts technology. I think the frequency between battery power to electricity definitely seems to be affected. So I mean, that could go back to what you were saying about the camera, is maybe it was more of that's just how it worked because the ghost was interfering. It turned the camera on. So because it's like you besides the keys moving, you don't really hear a whole lot of stories about things moving like that unless it's technology based or things turning on by themselves because it has electricity. So
yeah, you never hear a horror story about a great big fat guy that was flashing on life, just farting all the way across the hotel all the time, right? People just smelling poop.
No, but if I die,
toilets being clogged.
that's the kind of thing I would want to do. Just
rated PG-13 for toilet humor.
Again, Clay was here. No.
I'm gonna blame it on the ghosts from now on. If I ever have to let one rip, I'm blaming it on the ghosts. Did you see a ghost under my seat? Okay, I will leave you with a little bit of a cliffhanger. Okay.
All right.
So I left this intentionally because I wanted to make my first story creepy. So, the kid that we were referring to earlier, how he drowned. There's no name of this child, but on different floors, when people turn the bath on, sometimes they hear a child crying.
Ooh. See, while that doesn't sound like it could necessarily be related, just because water drowning, child, that is still genuinely pretty creepy.
Yeah, kids crying that's pretty creepy.
Yeah, especially when you have a story, even though, believer here, a little bit thin to try to connect it to, let's find someone that drowned. There's a kid that drowned outside the property, but it could be him.
Yeah, no name.
Still pretty creepy. So I like that. I think that adds a little bit of thickness to the plot.
A little bit of thickness, but that was my cliffhanger. So you'll have to forgive me.
That's good though.
Because I actually could have just wrote off everything that I told you as for some other reason, but I wanted to make sure that you heard everybody else's reason before I told you.
Okay, so I've heard a few stories. You've given me some of the evidence. What do you think? Bisbee haunted or not?
If there was a place in the U.S., I'm not saying there is a place, but just speaking about experience, if there was a place in the United States that would be haunted. And if you're basing that information off of how many violent deaths were in a certain area, I think Bisbee probably has more violent deaths per capita than any other place in the U.S. And if you're basing it off that, then I would say you could probably think they were haunted. Maybe ghosts don't come out to non-believers like myself, only to people who believe. I have no idea how that works because I think it's garbage. But if I was a person who believed in ghosts and the afterlife of people walking around on Earth, I would say that I would go to Bisbee and check it out first.
Well,
and if nothing else, they got some great drink specials, Jello shots, all sorts of stuff.
Well, I think it's really interesting. I'm glad that these stories got brought up today, and I'll definitely be checking out Bisbee in the future. But I think that's all the time we have on this episode.
Okay.
So I want to thank everyone for joining us, and of course, there will be more scary things to talk about in the future.
Thanks, guys.
Again, keep it real, and don't scream too loud if you get scared. So
that's right. Keep it real.
We'll see you
and
next time.
Check out the Copper Queen, Bisbee, Arizona.
Definitely check it out.